Hello everybody and welcome back to All the Mods 9. How's your day been? Good? Let me know down in the comments below. Last episode we worked on our Gregstar, getting ourselves more or less semi-automation on our LV machines. And like I said, I was going to move them and reorganize them to have better position and better cable management. And that's what I've done. That's why they're over here and nothing's over here anymore. So last episode we said we were going to do mob farms, and while I did actually record that, while editing it just didn't work out the way I kind of wanted it to. So it's just kind of very boring, but I ended up doing it. As you might have noticed, I've got unobtainium tools. So here's a quick recap of what just happened. So yeah, so down in this corridor here, we've got ourselves three new doorways. One we got in here for our hostile neural networks, which has been going for a good while now, and because, well, it's the next day. And we got ourselves piglitches, we got ourselves dragons, withers, slimes, and even this Twilight Wraith, who's producing tons of glowstone for us. Just now, we had none. Now we have 21,000 glowstone, and we have over 300 nether stars, which I did actually use to upgrade my dank. And we have plenty of stars now to make nitro crystals, which is how we're able to upgrade all of these guys here into nitro crafting. But this is pretty good, so we're kind of on track now for getting ourselves the ATM Star soon. In here, this is where we're going to be doing immersive engineering, which is needed for making the Duraplast for the railgun for the next new emitter. But today we're actually going to be setting up two machines, which are going to be needed for Gregstar, because we're going to continue with Gregstar today. And we're going to be progressing into the MV age, and actually upgrading our blast furnace, because you might have noticed there's a second one. I just removed the coils because we're actually going to be upgrading this one here to kanthal. I started setting up some machines over here, so we just got ourselves a few macerators, just crushing up bauxite, sulfur, cobaltite, chromite, rock salt, and saltpeter, because we're going to need a few of those materials now today. And back here, this is where I'm actually crafting up some cables at the moment, but we want ourselves some NV converters, and I set up a few patterns for them. I guess we just can't start MV converter, we just need to do it this way. Oh, okay, so it's MV energy converter, and you have to make sure you select which one. But we're going to make ourselves an 8 amp one right here. This might take a minute because we are making ourselves 8x copper cable, which is also needed for here. So actually, let me cancel that recipe and wait for these ones here to be crafted. They should not take that much longer. And while that's happening, let's get ourselves our first setup going. We need to start making ethylene, because today we're going to make polyethylene, and we need polyethylene for making ourselves transistors. So liquid polyethylene with silicon plates and fine tin wire will make our transistors, and this is how we're going to upgrade to our first HV circuit. And we're also going to get into a little bit of laser engraving and IC chips and like circuit wafers and everything today as well. And they require cutting machines at MV, and we're also going to need ourselves our blast furnace and making this monocrystalline silicon boule, which is just 32 silicon and one pile of small gallium arsenide. This is where I was thought I needed to blast it, but it turns out no, I need to mix it with silicon. And this is done at Cupernickel, but after that then we are going to require a higher tier of furnace, which is why we're going to try and make ourselves the MV energy hatch today, which should allow our blast furnace to run at HV, which would be perfect. So chemical reactor, we're going to need 2 of them to start. So chemical, and we're going to make these a HMV. So we have 2 these guys right here. We're missing some bronze rotors. I guess I never made those yet. Hang on. So there's 16 bronze rotors. They don't stack any higher than that, but we got plenty of them now. So we should be able to make ourselves our chemical reactors now. So 2 advanced chemical reactors. We've made enough copper cables, so we should be able to make our 8x or 8 amp converter now. So let's make one of those, because I think we're only going to have 8 machines on this wall. I'm still trying to figure out what's the best way to process everything and what's the best way to hook up all of the different ME things, because I'm thinking this might be the best way to do it, because right now these guys here have a filtered importer using an LV conveyor belt, and that way it won't pull in any extra byproducts, and then it'll just export out. So instead of using 6 channels right here, we're only using 3, which I think might be a bit more efficient on our channels. But I think for now we're end up going to have to not follow that rule here, because we're going to end up having, wait, it says the chemical reactor quest is done, but I only got the 1. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay, it showed me one of them and then it went to the other one. Okay, so back here then, we're gonna have to run ourselves some new cables here. So let's grab ourselves a new P2P tunnel access. So this is the center, run the cable down, and then we can hook this up like so. We do need to go and get ourselves a new P2P tunnel access. And oh yeah, so since we have access to our ME, or we have power and our hostile neural networks automated, I did set up some new wireless transistors for them. So we got one for Mob Farm and one for power. These don't work cross-dimensionally, so that's why we have one here connected to this quantum bridge. So that just allows everything over here to have access. So we just need to head back to the space station here and get ourselves a P2P access. And I have upgraded the terminals a small bit, so we got a lot more P2P tunnels. I upgraded the subnet controller to have a lot more faces, because right now with all these P2P tunnels that we have on it, there just wasn't enough channels going through the middle, so I have each side connected to their own ME controller, which is nice. So each one of them has 9 so far, and they can have up to 32. Since our quantum bridge is that way, we might as well grab one from this side, so we'll take this one. Yeah. So we should be able to just connect this right here. Nice. And we should be able to run our cables. We just need an interface to be able to export out the items. So give me like 10 of those. And we're also going to need some export buses. And why not some acceleration cards? Let me actually get some cable covers as well. So we can actually like hide the cables coming through the wall as well. So we want this guy right here. We're going to want a export bus on you and on you. And then we want to run our cables across here. But first I need to do this. And just come up here and then break this one and then add a cover here just to hide it. And then it'll go through the wall. So these will be connected here and here. And then this guy is just going to run out and connect to this dense cable up here. Nice. I don't have an exit to anything here, so I'm actually going to have to go in and around a few times. But anyway, these are more or less ready to go. So this guy here is going to export out any fluids and items that it makes into that guy. And same for this one, you're going to export out any fluids and items, right? And then at the top here, this one here is going to be making ourselves our ethylene. So we're going to be making ethanol through immersive engineering, but this requires the ethylene. And ethylene is sulfuric acid and ethanol. Make sure it's the immersive engineering one. And we'll give it some acceleration upgrades. Okay. And then this one is going to get, I believe, what was it again? Oxygen? Yes, oxygen gas and the ethanol. Yeah, so you're going to get the polyethylene. No, you just want ethylene. There we go. And acceleration cards. Now, let's go over to immersive engineering and make ourselves our fermenters, which are going to be making our ethylene. And we're going to be using that, or making that ethylene, using corn. Because corn seems to be the second best material that you can use. So if we look in here at fermenter, this guy here gets 120 millibuckets per corn, whereas like we usually would use potatoes, but they only give 80. The only other one that gives the most is honey bottles, but unfortunately we're not making a source of honey at the moment. We will later when we get into productive bees, but I think right now corn will be the best way to do this. And right now we actually don't have any, so we're going to have to go plant some, and I'm just going to bone meal the hell out of it for now. Eventually I do want to get a farming district set up. Maybe we'll do it over here somewhere, or maybe over there, but that'll be something we'll have to figure out on stream. So right here, let me grab out some emeralds, because I think we can buy corn seeds from the market here. Yep, we want this one right here. This is the thermal cultivation one. I think these ones work the best. And we're just going to get rid of these onion and cabbage here, plant these two, and now I'm just going to fill up my inventory with bone meal and just bone meal the hell out of these. Right, about 2 inventories full of bone meal. Now we got ourselves 1,500 corn. That should be more than enough. So all the way back over here now to immersive engineering, we want to grab ourselves some wireless access things. I've made some already, but we do have a pattern for it, so we don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to stick this up in the corner here. We're going to grab out some cable here and our P2P tunnel network. And we're just going to have to go get a new P2P tunnel as well. So you are just going to connect here. And actually, we need to add a new network. So we're going to call this immersive engineering. Okay, so we're going to add that. And that's going to be a subscribing network. So save. And now we just need to go over here and add the second one, or the other receiving end or boosting end to our quantum bridge, which we'll do right here. So immersive engineering, broadcast, save. And now we need to go get a P2P tunnel. And we'll take this one here. All right. So now that's pretty much ready to start automating. All we need to do now is actually build our 2 fermenters. So let's grab out our manual here from immersive engineering. Manual, we have 2 of them. Okay, that's fine. In here, we want to go to heavy machinery, a fermenter, and it looks like it's a 3x3, which is kind of what I marked out on the floor. And we just need all these materials right here. So fluid pipes, cauldrons, steel scaffolding, iron sheet metal, redstone engineering blocks, and light engineering blocks. Doesn't require that many. And we're going to be making 2 of them just to get started. Okay, so I kind of know the recipe. So we want both exports to be right here. So that's the way the fluid pipe is going to run. This steel scaffolding, I think, needs to go all the way around to here. And then you put yourself your light engineering blocks here, 2 of them, and then the redstone one here. And then I think you put 4 cauldrons down right here, and then steel or iron sheet metal on top. And now we just need to grab out an immersive hammer. And if you right click there we go, industrial fermenter. So the same thing here, but I think it has to be built the opposite way around. So this time the light engineering blocks are going to go here. So this goes all the way around. Actually, I wonder, does it matter? Can I just build it like this? Because I don't know if this will make things a lot easier. A lot of the time, these things can be a bit modular. Is this possible to do it this way? It is. Okay, that makes things a lot easier. But actually, maybe not, since the import port is over here. Maybe let's swap this around. Okay, so now the input ports are on the back wall here. That's actually fine. Let's do the same thing with this guy. Cool, so now they're both facing into the center here. So what we want is an interface, and we're going to need some cable here. So yeah, just regular smart cable should do. Put this right here, and now we're just going to run this cable up the wall here and connect it to this P2P tunnel, like so. That's perfect. And now what we want to do is grab out some cable here. We want some power cable because we need to hook these things up to power. And we'll just run this across the top here. Shouldn't matter if it's across the ceiling. Yep, and then we'll just grab out a point and just hook it up somewhere else. We'll just throw the point on right here. Right, so these machines should be getting power now, right? Yes. So now what we want to do is grab out some pipes. We need item and fluid. And what we're going to do is grab out our wrench. We'll swap this out for now. And we want to say these guys are both going to export out the ethanol. Okay. And now what we want to do is have an item pipe. And we want to run that back here. And we don't want it connecting there. So we'll just do this. And we'll do the same thing here. There we go. And you are going to be exclusively only extracting out the corn that we just made. And also do round robin so that each machine gets enough corn each. All right, so once we put this in here, whoa, okay, they're loud. But they should start making ethanol. And I've already partitioned a cell for this. So ethanol, yep, we can see it's filling up in the system. And now it's being exported out into our chemical reactor we set up over here now, which it is. Perfect. Now we just need to hook this thing here up to power. And we're going to be hooking these up to power using an 8x energy converter. So we're going to be using 8x copper nickel coils, which actually have, I think, the lowest export. I would eventually like to upgrade all of our cables here to these superconductors. Apparently these are the lossless ones. So no matter how far you run this cable, it doesn't lose any volts, Whereas right now, this guy would lose 1 volt per meter. So we wanted to connect this guy here. Now, this is not going to get all 128. I think it's only going to get about like 113 because of how long this cable is. So the superconductor cable does require kanthal coils, which we're going to aim for today. So hopefully now after today, we should be able to do that. Now, before I hook this up, I need to convert you to EU out and hook you up to power using another point. So you should be filling with EU. And if we just connect you now with the wire cutters, you can hear the machine is now online. Nice. So you should be making us our ethanol, and that ethanol then will be mixed with oxygen to make our polyethylene. Just make sure I hook this guy up here as well. And yes, he's getting power. This is exactly what we want. And you should be auto ejecting that out into the system because I have partitioned all the cells, hopefully, for everything here. So that will mix them with oxygen. I think it has to do it on circuit 1, and that will make our polyethylene. And then we can start fluid solidifying that in a fluid solidifier, making plates. Now, while that's doing that, let's grab ourselves out a new machine, the advanced electrolyzer. And you know what? Let's actually grab out 2 of them, because there's 2 materials we're going to have to electrolyze now. And we're going to set these up right here. So we're going to have to run some power this way, and we're going to need to run our ME interface too. So our 2 electrolyzer, one's going to go here and the other one's going to go there. We just need to make sure they're connected to the power. Give me out my... Oh, because of that, I need to swap this out. There we go. So you should be connecting and getting power. Same thing to you. You getting power? Yes, you are. Good. And now we want to stick an export bus on these guys. So one of them is going to be exporting out ruby dust. Ruby dust, when electrolyzed, will give you silicon, aluminium, and chromite. And chromite is needed for making ourselves the kanthal dust that we now need to make the better coils. So ruby, I think we can actually just crush this one using an ore hammer. And that will just give us the ruby dust that we can just export out into the system. Now, other than that, I don't think ruby dust has much of a use. And also, we're going to get a ton of oxygen from doing this as well, which will be amazing. That should be enough ruby for now. We have 12,000 of it in here. So you are just going to export out the ruby dust. Oh, I need to hook up the outside. Okay, but you are just going to export out fluids and items into the ME system. And are you starting? This should be online. Yes, there we go. So ruby dust electrolyzed should give us chromium and aluminium. Oh, I thought it gives silicon as well. Oh, I guess not then. Okay, how do we get silicon then? Silicon dust comes from electrolyzing mica dust, soapstone, topaz, biotite, argentite, polylusite, benotite, spessartine, silicon dioxide, and alumite. Okay, I think the best way to go is through silicon dioxide, which is, I think, the way the quest book wants us to do it. Yeah, it wants to use to make silicon dioxide. But it turns out, if you actually centrifuge deep slate dust, you get 4 silicon dust and some biotite, which can be electrolyzed into a bunch of other things. They give you fluorine and oxygen, and it also gives you more silicon. So that's what we're going to do. So we also now need a centrifuge. So 1 advanced centrifuge here, hook you up to power. Good. And now we want to throw an export bus on you, and you're going to be deep slate or dust. It'd probably be easier if I just take it out of the system manually. Because we have 2.1 million of it, which is insane. So you go in there, and then you'll start centrifuging. I do need to hook up the ME cable now. So just run this across interface right here, because you are going to export out into you. You're going to have items and fluids. I don't think it was actually fluids, but anyway, that'll do. And we're just going to add a cover here. All right, you should start up, hopefully. Yep, there you go. And it's actually quite fast. So it only takes 4 seconds. Not bad. And now we should be making ourselves all of those different dusts, which I don't think I have every single one of them partitioned, but it should be enough for now. So we want to grab out that silicon dioxide it's making, this guy right here, and we want to electrolyze that in here. And this only takes 2 seconds, and now we're getting silicon and oxygen gas. Let's just make sure these things are exporting out items and fluids. Amazing. So now we can actually start cooking up that silicon to make our silicon wafers in our blast furnace. So before actually that, let me grab out a mixer. We need an advanced mixer. Auto crafting is amazing, but it can be terribly slow at times. Once we get the higher tier machines for making the parts for this thing, it should go a lot quicker. All right, so 1 advanced mixer. I'm going to put you there. We're not going to actually import any items automatically. We're just going to manually put them in. But you will export automatically into this guy here. So there's only going to be items so far. So what we need is aluminium dust. We have a stack of that. Good. We need iron dust. I should have a bunch of that from our geotite processing. Or have I turned it all into steel dust already? I think I've turned it on steel dust already. Okay. I should be able to make it this way. There we go. And then I think it's a stack of chromite. So we need this chromite dust right here. And I have been crushing down this chromite ore. But I think the other best way to get this is also through electrolyzing. Actually, no, we should be getting this through electrolyzing ruby, right? Hang on, what's the best way to get this? Oh no, it's not chromite, it's chromium is what we're looking for. And yes, you do get that by electrolyzing ruby dust. Okay. And we're just not at a stack of it yet, so we're just missing 16 of it. Okay, that's fine. We can start mixing up in here. This needs to be done on circuit 1. And this will start making us our kanthal dust. So while that's doing that, let's go over here and start making our monosilicon boule or something. Something like that. That's for making ourselves our different circuits in here now as well. So, silicon plate, silicon. Actually, we just need to cook up the silicon first. So, silicon, dust. We have 60 of it now. Does this require any type of fluid to cook? Oh, wait, this requires kanthal. We might as well start this one here, actually. This requires copper nickel. So, we need circuit 2 and small gallium arsenide. All right, so that should be enough to make 2 sets of them. And they will just go in here to the item. I'm actually moved the item input here for pattern providers. So this goes in here. Change this guy here to circuit 2. I think you do that inside the actual input. Guy's online, and it's going to take 450 seconds. Wow, okay, that's going to take a while. And now the kanthal that we're also making has to be cooked through copper nickel as well as circuit 1. Or if we somehow can get ourselves nitrogen, we can cook it a little bit quicker. It takes 30 seconds instead of 45 seconds. So we're cutting down nearly 15 seconds of time if we were to use nitrogen. Now, there's a few ways of getting nitrogen, and I think the way we're going to do it is by electrolyzing saltpeter. And I have been grinding up saltpeter dust in here. So if we look up saltpeter, we only have 48, and that's the railcraft one, which I don't think works. Yes, this one when electrolyzed gives sodium and chlorine, which chlorine is something we're going to want, but that's not the one we are looking for. So it has to be the Gregstar saltpeter. So that means we need to figure out what to do with this crushed ore now. So ideally, we'll want to thermal centrifuge, because then we'll get some potassium as a byproduct, and then crush this again to get our saltpeter. So I guess we might as well set that up right here. So ore washer, and we'll put this right here. This is a basic one. This is 16x tin cable. Okay, and we should be able to wire you up. Why are you not getting power? Oh, because I broke the cable, of course. Yes, now you have power. Right, so we want to use you to input in water. So we're going to want to pump. Oh, wait. We're going to need an export bus on this. We can't use an interface. The way this one's going to have to run is we're going to have an interface here and an export bus. The same way we've been doing that over there. So you are going to auto-eject your items out that way. And then we're just going to grab out some cable. Okay, so you are going to have water. And so far, the crushed saltpeter. Okay, so you should start exporting those out. Right? Oh, they're doing the water first. Do I need to get this acceleration cards? There we go. And you are not working. Oh, because you need circuit 1. There we go. Are you working now? Yes, it takes 20 seconds and that should auto-eject into there. Now we want to grab out a thermal centrifuge. And we want to put you right here. And we'll just throw an export bus on you. And you're going to give us out the... If we look up crushed saltpeter again. This crushed one is going to go through an ore washer and give purified. So we want to purified version of it in here. Okay, and give us some acceleration card upgrades. Perfect. So you are going to auto-eject out into this guy. And then we just need to crush it again. So give me another macerator. Do we have another macerator? No. Okay, I'm just going to have to make one quickly. We're out of sticky resin. No problem, since to our hostile neural networks, we have tons of slime balls to turn into sticky resin. So basic macerator, we're actually going to change this the same way here. So we're going to put an export bus of the, I guess, refined version of it now. So refined saltpeter dust with upgrades, and that should be more or less it then. Oh yes, make sure that the macerator is hooked up to power. And you should start working. You haven't made anything. Why? Oh, because you have no power, of course. Now we're going. And that should be more or less our whole process done. So in here, we're still electrolyzing silicon dioxide. So we want to grab another electrolyzer, put it right here. Now an interface, and we need to run our cables now as well. You also eject out fluids and items. And then we'll just put an export bus on top of you, connect you up to power. And you are just going to be exporting out the saltpeter dust from Gregstar. All right, so I think it needs about 5 of them to get started. But once it gets going, we should start making ourselves our nitrogen gas, which will automatically go into the second blast furnace that we made. Okay, so now I just made a simple fluid solidifier for the plate molds, and now we can actually start making ourselves our polyethylene plates. So we can request like 10 of these, since we have plenty, and they should automatically get pumped into here in the fluid form. And once I connect this thing here to power, then we should actually get ourselves our plates. Yes, and it only takes 2 seconds. Amazing. And we've also got it for rubber sheets as well. Right, so if we look over here, we should have some nitrogen gas in here, which we do. Perfect. This thing is still going. Oh, must be on the second one now. Yes, it is. Okay. So if we look up the silicon boule that we just made, I think we have to cut this in a cutting machine. So I guess let's make ourselves an advanced cutting machine. Okay, so to make the cutting machine, we're going to have to make ourselves some vanadium steel. That is chrome, vanadium, and steel. Vanadium, I don't think we've processed yet. And we do have a bunch of raw vanadium here, so we are going to have to crush that first. So I guess you just crush this in here temporarily. So we're centrifuging of magnetized vanadium, which should give us out our vanadium dust. And yep, now we have that, and we need to mix that then with what again? I think it was chrome and steel blend. Okay, and what circuit do we need to mix this on? Circuit 1. So, okay, we'll just stop this for a moment and we'll just do this. I'm actually going to put the coils back for this thing so we can actually utilize the nitrogen at the slower or the faster recipes. Hopefully this doesn't need any maintenance because I didn't break the hatches. Nope. So this guy in here at circuit 1 with the vanadium steel should cook it. Oh wait, I don't think I ever hooked this guy up to power, did I? Nope. Okay. All right, now the blast furnace is online. So this is only going to take us 80 seconds to make vanadium steel, where I think it takes 120 without nitrogen. Or did I forget to actually set the circuit number correctly? Maybe circuit 1 was just to cook it regularly. Yep. Okay, circuit 2 is actually the way we should have done it. Oops. Okay, I guess we have 80 seconds to go. How much is left on you? Okay, nearly done. Perfect. Yeah, that's more like it. 54 seconds on the correct circuit. This shouldn't take too much longer now. To save on material cost, instead of using 2 ingots to 1 plate, we can actually use a basic bender here, which does 1 to 1, which will definitely be a lot better since we don't actually have that much vanadium steel. Alright, so here's our vanadium steel saw blade, which should allow us to make our cutter. Looks like we're still missing a MV conveyor belt. I'll add a pattern for this thing. No, I'll make one quickly. So advanced cutting machine go here. We need to export out our items now, which is going to be water, because this thing needs water to run. And for now, we're just going to manually craft everything. So you are going to auto eject out items, and we want to cut these 2 boules here. These require circuits? No. No, they shouldn't. MV, 40 seconds. They should just work. Oh, of course. It wouldn't work because the thing's not hooked up to power. There we go. This is going to take 40 seconds each, and we should get 16 wafers each. Now, over here, I'm working on making ourselves a sifter, because if we want to make the next tier stuff, which is the laser engraver, we are going to need a certain tier of emerald. So if we look up in here, I have just been starting to crush some emerald dust. So we have 3 crushed emerald. I want to throw that through an ore washer. You know what? I think if we change this to circuit 2, it doesn't give any byproducts, but it works a lot faster. Yeah, that's probably more like it. I'm not too worried about the byproducts, but later on when we get like the multi-block stuff, then we'll start catching the byproducts. So using the purified emerald, I have been just making some new 16x ME cable, because we are going to be needing a new line of power. So 16x copper nickel, and that's just going to go along here. And the center of this wall should be about right here. This block right here. Okay, so the sifter is getting power now, and we're just going to stick this in here. And we're hoping for, if we look up MV emitter, we're looking for a flawless emerald, because we need this here for making the laser engraver. Okay, we didn't get a flawless one. We did actually get an exquisite. And if we actually put the exquisite in a cutting machine, we'll actually get 2 flawless, which is actually pretty good. So you go in there, cut up flawless emeralds into the system. Now we can make ourselves our laser engraver. So 1 laser engraver go there, and we just need to make sure he connects to power. Yep. And now what we need is a blue laser lens, because what we want to do, if we want to upgrade to the MV energy hatch, we need this ULPIC chip, which comes from UIPC wafers, which do require a glass lens or a sapphire lens. And I think we're going to go for the sapphire lens. So we can actually just crush a sapphire into a plate and then use a lathe to get ourselves this. So do we have a lathe? No, but I can make one. So give me my multi-servo press again. And let's just crush up a sapphire here into a plate. I should be able to just hook it into the point right here. All right, so sapphire plate. Now if we come back here, do we have our lathe yet? No. This might take a moment because how fast the assembler is for making these cables. Maybe that's what we should look into upgrading next episode, our cable production. Right, so we have our lathe going, and he's making us our sapphire lens, and it's actually taken 60 seconds. Wow, that's actually quite a long time. But anyway, I just grabbed out silicon wafers and put them in the laser engraver. It doesn't need a circuit, just as long as it's got the right type of lens, which this thing is slowly making. Right, so sapphire lens in here with the laser engraver, and oh, this is going to take 45 seconds as well. But that's going to make us our chips, and then we have to cut those chips again. All right, so it's already made 2, so let's just throw these in the cutting machine, and we should get our wafers now we can use for our MV energy hatch. And actually, we should probably start cooking up this kanthal now, and that is done through nitrogen on circuit 2, and this also is going to make the hot kanthal, so we are going to need a chemical bath to cool it down as well, using water. So a chemical bath is another thing we have to make now. Oh, wait, that needs to be cooked at HV, so we actually do need to get our MV energy hatches first before we can do that. Never mind. All right, so we got ourselves an advanced assembler here, and now we're going to make ourselves our MV coils, which are just circuit 1 with a magnetic steel rod and 16 fine aluminium. That's no problem, so circuit 1. And we're going to upgrade both blast furnaces to HV as well. Why not? All right, so there's our 4 coils, and we should have everything now to upgrade this guy. We just need a few MV machine hulls, and they're cheap enough. And there's our 4 energy hatches. Right, now we're just waiting on 2 MV 4 amp converters to be made. And actually, I don't think I have any 4X cable here. Let me grab out, I think, let's just make 10 of this. It might take a while because I am making 100 copper wire as well. Okay, the converters are almost done, so we're just going to stick the MV hatches here, and then we just need a wrench and shift right click, because just normal right click and won't work, so you have to shift right click. There we go. And then we can hook up our cable like so. And now we just need a wire cutter. Everything here is connected. Yep. And there's our 2 MV amps things. So they can just pretty much go straight onto it there. We just need to make sure we soft mallet them. There we go. And now we should be able to connect this guy. And off he goes. Now we should be cooking our kanthal. And it's taking 30 seconds each. And now we're running at HV, as you can see. Beautiful. All right, a while later. And now we should have our kanthal fully cooked. Kanthal, I could type. Kanthal, we got 200 of it. Now, I believe holding this, yes, does hurt you. But I think if we had fire resistance, it wouldn't hurt me. And I'm pretty much fire immune with this armor, but it doesn't seem to matter. Anyway, what we want now with our chemical bath, and I think I just made that. So chemical bath, yep. And we want to put this guy right here. And we're going to have to make sure we export out water into him. So we're going to need a new P2, or not P2P, an exporter. Do I have a P2 panel back here? No, I don't. Should I get a new one? There's only 11 uses on this one. I think I should be able to get away with running this around the corner here. If I need to add a new one, I'll add a new one. But for now, we should be okay with just doing this. All right, so the chemical bath is now getting power. And we just need to set this thing here to water. And that should be more or less it then. All we need to do is grab out our hot kanthal. And we need 2 stacks to make 1 set of coils, I think. And you know what? Let me just stick the exporter to do that as well. Just cool it all down. Now, I don't think this makes any byproducts. It shouldn't. If it does make steam, we can just void it. Okay, no byproducts, and we got ourselves our kanthal. Right, we'll just put an interface to send that back into the system. Okay, this has been taking forever. Waiting for this kanthal to cool down is just so slow. I actually even changed the water out to distilled water, which cut the time down by 7 seconds. But even still, this is just way too slow. But we're just missing 2 ingots worth now, and that will give us our first 16 coils to allow us to upgrade at least one of these blast furnaces, and we can start making ourselves our silicon ingots. So let's just get ourselves the last 2 here now, and there we go. And I've already gone ahead and melted down some copper using an advanced extractor in here, and this is how we're going to make our kanthal coils now, because it needs 1 ingot of copper each time. So this doesn't require a circuit, so we should be able to just throw the items in, and off it goes. We'll just make our 16 kanthal coils. And there we go. We got our 16 coils. There's enough copper left in here to make another set of 16, but we just don't have them yet. So hopefully now, actually, I might need to get this thing to stop processing. How much time is left on it? Okay, I'm just going to wait till this runs out. But if we can see that at HV, using copper nickel, it's going to take 45 seconds. Theoretically now, when we increase it with the kanthal coils, since this will burn at a higher temperature, this should go a lot faster. Just about done now. There we go. So now we can break these coils and now replace them with the kanthal. Okay, and now if we change this to circuit 2, actually we'll just say it's circuit 1. So it was 45 seconds, and now it takes still 45 seconds? Wow, they're the same color. Huh. So does changing the coils not increase the speed of the machine? Only the voltage does, I'm guessing. Okay, well, we'll change this back to circuit 2 anyway, and we'll just leave that go, and you just continue doing that. But now anyway that we have kanthal coils, we can start cooking up our silicon. Now, there's two ways of cooking the silicon. We can either mix it with carbon, and we should get carbon monoxide byproduct, which I have made a partition cell for, or we can just cook it straight up on circuit 1 at kanthal MV and get the hot silicon, which will then have to cool. I think our best... Oh, that's silicon dioxide dust. Oh, and we're currently electrolyzing that. This takes 12 seconds. This takes 60 seconds. Let me go and stop it from exporting out the silicon dioxide, and let me get a stack of that. This is a more costly recipe because it is a 3 to 2 to 1. So we need 5 ingredients just to get 1 hot silicon ingot. So maybe using just regular silicon dust would be better, but this takes 60 seconds where this will only take 12 seconds. And we might as well get ourselves a few silicon going right now, because I think we're just about out of time. So let's just grab this and make ourselves our transistors, and then next episode we can work on setting up all of this stuff here for getting our HV circuits, which I think would be a good idea, because then we can finally start making our circuit assembler. Okay, so we have all our silicon dioxide. Let's take this kanthal out and put it in here just so it can work. And there's only 30 seconds left because we're using the nitrogen, so it's actually still cut down by 15 seconds. And let's see now, does this actually require nitrogen, or am I after mistaking this? Oh, it doesn't need anything. So it doesn't matter what circuits it's on, we'll get carbon monoxide and 11% chance of ashes. Okay, so put that in there with this. Takes 6 seconds because we're running at HV, not MV. So the time has been cut in half, which is actually quite amazing. And now we should have hot silicon, and we have a lot of hot kanthal as well. Let's take out our hot silicon ingots and come over here to a chemical bath and cool it down. There we go. So we have 3 silicon ingots. And what are we supposed to do with these now? Turn them into silicon plates, and we can do that using a bending machine, which we just have over here. So 3 silicon plates, and now we should have everything to make ourselves our transistor now. So transistors, you make 8 at a time, which is really nice, and requires 1 ingot of liquid polyethylene and some fine tin wire. I'm going to take the copper out into these buckets here. I might need to put 2 more ingots in to finish the recipe for more kanthal coils. But if you click on the fluid with a plunger, it deletes it out of the system, so that way you don't have to worry about it. So if we come in here and now grab out a bucket of polyethylene, which I think it wants us to hold. Is this a quest? Oh, it would be. I need an ethylene bucket as well. So I could actually tell this guy here to stop processing so I can fill up some in the buffer to get the quest. So we can put this in here with our silicon plates, and now we're fine tin wire, which we should be crafting, and this should make us our transistors. I think no, it shouldn't go into the system. There's no export. And there we go, transistors. That is pretty much this part of the quest done. Now, unfortunately, we can't do that until we got ourselves these guys, but I'll gather these in between episodes. So that's more or less all we have time for. So next episode, we'll finally get into the HV age and get our first HV circuits. So I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell while you're at it then as well. So without any further ado, goodbye.